Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Makah, Hakwadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well, peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Dawada from the Men of Valor campaign in Greenwood, South Carolina, coming back with another video on sincerity and in truth, and Lord willing to be edifying. And just bringing out some more news. I know it seems like, man, this shit's, intensifying quickly, and it is. So it's a lot to cover. All right, but this zerohedge.com article will give pretty much the updates within the last 24 to 48 hours of this escalation with the Israel-Iran war, and how, America's about to be dragged into it, how China's about to be dragged into it, and how it truly is the beginning of World War III. Not necessarily, really through military alliances, but also through the economic layouts and how it's going to affect world economies. All right, it's going to draw nations into war. So let's get right into it. Once again, zerohedge.com. It says the USS Nimitz carrier group on its way to Mid-East, all right, which is really Western Asia. Yeah, Western Asia. It says, as Iran reportedly seeks de-escalation with Israel. It says, below is Fox News chief national security correspondent Jennifer Griffin confirming a major breaking development. Confirmed, the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier strike group is on its way to the Middle East from the South China Sea. A U.S. official tells Fox News. The Nimitz was previously scheduled to replace the USS Carl Vinson carrier strike group, which has been deployed for several months. But it is now headed to the Middle East ahead of schedule. The two will now be in the Middle East at the same time. The USS Nimitz is the oldest active aircraft carrier in the U.S. Navy, commissioned on May 3rd, 1975, scheduled to be decommissioned in 2026. This is possibly its final sea voyage. This is a very significant symbolic development because it was deployed in 1980, and its helicopters that were part of the failed U.S. effort known as Operation Eagle Claw to rescue the American hostages being held at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. The U.S. has been in a shadow war against Israel, or it's like against Iran, ever since. So that's an interesting piece of information. The last time that this particular aircraft carrier was used it was a failed attempt to try to rescue Americans from the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, which is in Iran. Soon after this reporting, Iran is preparing for the largest and most intense missile attack in history on Israeli soil, Iranian state media. This is war, man. All right, there's not going to be no de-escalation from this. All right, this is Jeremiah 50 being played out right before our eyes of the least of the flock, drawing them out. All right, the least of the flock being the state of Israel, all right, and the Amalekites. It says, this comes on the heels of reports that the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv suffered minor damages from a nearby Iranian ballistic missile impact, and Reuters confirmed. U.S. military has moved a large number of refueling tanker craft to Europe to give option to U.S. President Trump. The Wall Street Journal this morning, Iran eager to negotiate with the U.S. and Israel to end the war. And they're lying. All right, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as it rain upon a woman and child, as travail upon a woman and child, and they shall not escape. CNN this morning, Iran refuses to negotiate while under attack, and until its retaliation against Israel is completed. All right, and there's no point of any peace talks, because the whole peace talks with Iran and America, the whole 6th round was a distraction, and Trump showed his hand by coming out and saying that basically it was a distraction, and that the plan all along was for Israel to attack. All right, so they've shown that they can't be diplomatic whatsoever. So what's the point of any peace talks? All right, that's why they're just raining fire on these damn devils, man. Disinformation is always a weapon of war. Let's let people believe what they want. All right, let's go down. It says, this likely won't end well, given the Times of Israel is now citing Israeli officials who say the operation is expected to last 2 to 3 weeks. There's a bank of military targets that we can complete pretty quickly. Meanwhile, Iranian reports are claiming that only some 5% of its offensive missile capability has been used. I believe it, man. All right, the shit that they started sending out on Thursday, was weak sauce. Now it's starting to get more and more intense. All right, and they got some shit, man. They've been preparing to use it. All right, the Lord has put the spirit on these nations to prepare war, not peace, but war. So they're not going to run out of artillery. All right, but let's see how this unfolds. It says, meanwhile, Iran's Revolutionary Guard calls on Tel Aviv residents to evacuate as soon as possible, Iranian state media. All right, so they're telling people to get up out of there, man. All right, y'all want to stay in harm's way. All right. We got another update. It says everything is suddenly exploding higher, also with gold and oil dropping, especially on the following Wall Street Journal breaking report, which suggests that the Iranians are open to returning to the negotiation table with Trump officials, even as ballistic missiles rain down on Israel and as much of the Islamic Republic, particularly oil depots, burn. And they might shut down the Strait of Hormuz. In the midst of the ferocious Israeli air campaign, Tehran has told Arab officials that they will be open to returning to the negotiating table as long as the U.S. doesn't join the attack, which they will. The officials said they also passed messages to Israel saying it is the interest of both sides to keep the violence contained. All right. So we see some charts. We're seeing gold going down. We're seeing oil going up. Stock market, for some reason, has went up today. Wall Street Journal continues. Iran has been urgently signaling that it seeks an end to hostilities and resumption of talks over its nuclear program, sending messages to Israel and the U.S. via Arab intermediaries, Middle Eastern and European officials said. This comes also amid reports that dozens of U.S. Air Force tankers have in the last hours taken off from the United States and headed toward Europe, as also confirmed in Flight Trader 24 and Air Live. Is Trump ready to join the Israeli side militarily? The Iranians fear so, it appears. Iran's message is that it is in the interest of both sides to keep the violence contained, according to the Ergang diplomatic message passed along. But at this point, it seems clear that Israel is going to full regime decapitation, given also the reports say that Israel Air Force has total aerial dominance over western Iran and skies above Tehran at this point. If these reports of Iranian olive branch are accurate, is it too little, too late? And it is too little, too late. We're in a time of war. After another day of receiving end of an Israeli war of aggression that began Friday, Iran delivered a major counterpunch overnight, further demonstrating that Israel's highly touted Iron Dome, Salakia, it's a lot of eyes, defense system is vulnerable to Iran's hypersonic missiles. Upon completing a deadly barrage aimed at targets in Tel Aviv, Haifa, and elsewhere, Iran claimed it had employed a new method that put Israeli multi-layered defense systems in disarray to the point its various systems targeted each other. Yeah, and I saw that. All right. So, let's check this out. And look at these man. This shit's moving fast, man. All right, at first they were sending cruise missiles and stuff, but they have these hypersonic missiles. All right, and really, Iran doesn't necessarily need. I believe that they have them, just like Israel has them, for prophecy's sake. But that doesn't mean nobody's gonna nuke each other right now until the MOTB is declared throughout all the earth. But nonetheless, Iran has the military capabilities to fend off Israel, man. All right, just like when Russia began its special military operation. All right, and hey, China may take Taiwan, man. We're in a time of war. All right, the war is going to open out on several fronts, as we've been saying through the Spirit. It says, as fire and rescue teams scrambled to report the damage, time of Israel reported at least 80 people had been killed and more than 90 injured in the early Monday attack, bringing Israel's running death toll to at least 24, with hundreds wounded. The arrogant dictator of Tehran has become a scared murderer who fires at Israeli civilians' home front in order to deter the IDF from continuing to carry out attacks that are destroying its capabilities, said Defense Minister Israel Katz, only to then promise that residents of Tehran will pay the price, and soon. Man, these damn Israelis are hypocrites, because right now they have Gaza in a chokehold. They cut the internet off. They've been starving them out and just bombing them relentlessly. All right, you ain't even heard nothing about Hamas being, members being killed and shit. It's just women and children dying. All right, y'all ain't got shit to say about that. But you're saying that Iran is killing, civilians and whatnot. But in Tel Aviv, the reason they're targeting Tel Aviv so heavily is because the Mossad, all right, which is like Israel's CIA, which operates at such a higher level because Israel is a very small country and his military is smaller, so it has to be covert. All right, that's the spirit of this devil being sneaky and deceitful. All right, they can topple the governments. They do car bombs and all type of shit, but they're hiding amongst their own civilian population, and that's why Iran is attacking them. All right, it says multiple dead from Iran attacks on Tel Aviv suburbs. Iran ballistic missile guts high-rise, unconfirmed footage. And hey, don't be surprised if Israel's allowing a lot of this damage, to get America to step in. Like, oh, people are dying, we got to join the fight. But most of the American population don't want to die for Israel, man. It says Iran claimed it struck targets that included a power plant in Haifa that was seen engulfed in flames, an oil refinery complex in Bazan, a facility of the military technology company Rafael Advanced Defense Systems facility, as well as Ben Gurion Airport. The Cradle reports that the other targets also Nevatim Air Base, an army camp in Galilee, and hits on power grid facilities that caused widespread blackouts. Projectiles also hit a residential high-rise building and at least another residential area. An Iranian defense official said the attack included missiles with 1.5-ton warheads, but noted Iran has even heavier warheads in its inventory, and these aren't even nuclear. And you see the damage that they're doing. Look at that. Whoa! This is your new warfare, man. They don't have to. They're gonna do it, but they don't have to amass troops, on the borders and say, oh, we're gonna declare war. We're gonna shoot our guns. You shoot your guns. No. All right. They're doing drone attacks, missile attacks. And this will go nuclear, but not yet. All right, continuing on. It says, citing a statement from the Islamic Revolution Guards Corps, state media outlet Press TV reported that the operation specifically targeted the Zionist regime's command and control systems using advanced tactics and enhanced intelligent tech capabilities. As a result, the IRGC said the enemy's multi-layered defense systems were thrown into disarray, to the point where their own air defense units began firing on each other. And I saw that. It says one video making the rounds on social media appears to show an IDF missile intercept blowing itself up. Through the careful observer must contemplate the possibility that an unforced IDF error captured on video may have been opportunistically exploited to make an exaggerated claim. So, we'll see what goes with that. It says dampening Israeli hopes that Iran may run out of missiles soon. Israeli National Security Advisor Zaki, I don't know how to say that, told Army Radio that Iran has thousands of ballistic missiles in its inventory, which the Times of Israel called a higher figure than previously estimated. So they underestimated Iran. All right, these are the ancient Persians, man. They ruled that region for a time. A very powerful empire, but the Lord brought them down, just like the Lord is bringing down the empire of Esau. All right, it is beast system. It says Iran has similarly made repeated claims that it hasn't used its full resources yet. We are still exercising restraint and have not deployed all of our capabilities to avoid global chaos. IRGC Chief uh, Major General Masan Rezai told Iranian state media. However, we may reach a point where we use new weapons, while reiterating Iran's claims that it doesn't seek to acquire a nuclear weapon, a claim recertified as valid by the U.S. intelligence community. As recently as March of this year, he hinted that Iran's stance on nuclear weapons development could change, saying the future cannot be predicted with precision.
Wow.
Look at that. Called the blackout. So man, shit is popping off over there, man. Look at that. Yeah, man, this shit popping off, man. This is what they've been doing to Gaza for well over a year now. All right, and a lot of them were cheering it on. And now the shoe is on the other foot. Now you fucking rats. All right, I'm panicking, man. And you also got Jake on TikTok and shit. You know, I was sharing videos in the chat. You know, Jake, you know, and a lot of them were funny. You know, they know that people feel in their being that this isn't a good thing, man. All right, Iran is not Afghanistan, it's not Sudan, it's not Libya, man. It's a very powerful military. All right, and because of that, they know that something is going on, and you know, if they're gonna drag America into this, you know, hey, what did Iran say? They said everyone will feel it. Look at that, they fucking that shit up, man. Talk about giving them a taste of their own medicine. You see, remember, we didn't initiate it. All right, so that's the article. I know it was a lot of reading, a lot of information, but this is just within the last 4 or 5 days, man. This is less than a week of fighting, and so much has already happened. All right, so the Lord is definitely intensifying this thing. All right, and it's not going backwards, man. All right, we're in the time of prophecy being fulfilled. This is Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. It says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, we are without a doubt in the third woe, man. All right, and the Lord is mustering the hosts of the battle. You know, he's gathering these nations. Let's go ahead and grab it. All right, he's doing it for Israel's sake, man. All right, hey, the Lord is coming to redeem his elect. All right, this should have you excited. We're not shaking in mind by this. We knew this war would come. All right, this is Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hooks and the spears, and let the weak say, I am strong. All right, and that represents these nations, these different kingdoms, building up their military. All right, they're not worried about their agriculture. They're building up their military to fight. All right, and we're seeing this on full display with Iran and their capabilities against Israel. All right, it's getting to a point they're not going to be able to. The Iron Dome is straight up failing and turning on itself. So America is going to have to step in. So that brings America into a direct war with Iran. All right, and who are Iran's biggest allies? China and Russia. Who's also an enemy of America? China and Russia. There's your world war right there. So all you gainsayers and naysayers, you know, that thought that this wasn't going to come to pass, and now you staring down the barrel of it. Now what you going to fucking do, man? All right, hey, these YNs and shit about to get drafted. All right, these women, you know, they about to be in that second Esdras 16 spirit of mourning, you know, having no husbands, because the men are going to be sent out to war. All right, I've spoke with Ukrainian women and about the situation over there, and the men, there's no men around, because the marriage, or the men that, you know, supposed to be marrying these women, they're being sent to the meat grinder, man. All right, they're being snatched up and sent into war. You don't think that's coming over here? So there's going to be a shortage of men. All right, and women already outnumber men, you know, anyway. All right, so that's where you're going to see your Isaiah 4:1. All right, these women ain't going to step up like the old World War II spirit, Rosie the Riveter, we can do it as spirit. No, man, these bitches about to be scared, man. So we seeing that the Lord is doing this. Let the weak say I'm strong, man. All right, you know, America, all right, was the big bad bully. And now these nations are starting to stand up to America and Israel and say, fuck it. You know, Yemen been popping, man, they've been hitting them niggas with ballistic missiles too. All right, so they're at war on all these different fronts, and it's definitely going to drag America into it. Verse 11, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So the Lord is gathering them to this region, all right, what's also known as the Levant. All right, but that's where World War III will take place. Yeah, you're going to have skirmishes in different other areas, you know, like in Europe and you know, in Ukraine and stuff. But the main action is taking place right now. The main action is going to be these nations being drawn to the so-called Middle East, which is Western Asia. All right, and the Lord is going to bring them and judge them there. Verse 13, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. All right. So hey, the day of the Lord is here, man. It's coming. It's only gonna intensify. All right, we ain't about to be like these damn Christians. Oh, you know, he might come back when our grandchildren. Man, no. Woe to you that desire the day of the Lord, man. Because none of you really want the Lord to come back. We want the Lord to come back, but we know that it's going to be a lot of death and bloodshed and destruction going on when he makes his return. And we seeing we're at the beginning of this war, man. It might calm down for a bit. I wouldn't be surprised. But once again, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, you know, reigneth upon them. All right, we in those times. You know, it's happening right before our eyes. So I just wanted to cover this through the spirit, you know, just an update with this whole Israel-Iran war. You know, it's a lot going on, and that's, you know, it happens live and in time. You know, the spirit, Lord willing, the spirit's own brother to cover it, you know. Hey, because this prophecy is speaking, you know. So Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, who rule well, and peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Till the next time, Shalom.